So have you ever heard of imposter syndrome? That's when you doubt your skill, your talent, or accomplishments that you actually have so persistently that you have a fear of being found out as a fraud. That's like an actual definition, right? So how does this imposter system show up for passionate cooks and for chefs? Holy Toledo does it show up for chefs, let me tell you. This is exactly why some chefs are huge assholes. Because you know what? If you are super confident, you don't need to be a dick, okay? The difference between, someone telling you, like, they don't like your purple shirt. They don't like my purple chef jacket, okay? I love my purple chef's jacket, so I don't really care what they think. But let's make this like even more obvious, right? Let's say someone says they don't like your pink hair, and you're like, my hair's not pink. Like, you know that your experience is so different that you don't even get what they're saying. So those are kind of the different, right, like, vector of that. But that's the internal versus the external. And who can blame us as passionate cooks for being insecure when we have hugely talented and very visible titans in our industry, right? I mean, if you're in business and you have a hero who's a CEO, that's great. You might hear about him in the news or read their biography or whatever. But when you're a passionate cook, you're constantly inundated with cooking shows and on social and magazines and pictures and recipes and stars and the Food Network and restaurants and like these uber superstar chefs like Gordon Ramsay or someone like Ina Garten, whoever your personal inspiration is, right? And it's totally normal for us to think, I will never be that good. They are on a whole different planet than I am. I will never be good enough. And what happens is that starts to kind of get into thoughts like maybe you have something go really well and you feel like you got lucky and you discount that you actually prepared and worked hard. Or you find it hard to accept praise. This is a classic with us. When someone says, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever eaten, and you're like, in your head, hopefully, I messed this up, it should have been this, it didn't have enough this. We always do that, right? And this can turn into like a fear of failure that kind of keeps you from doing things or taking risks. Like if you haven't started your personal chef business yet and you know you're a great cook and people tell you you're a great cook all the time and you feel like you're just not good enough yet for what you want to do, right? You know what? You don't have to be the best at something to be good enough. And you are, as a person, good enough. You can look at master chefs and accept that you're not there. I have come to terms with the fact that there is a certain level of cooking that I will never get to. I choose not to dedicate myself to it to that level to get that sort of improvement. I'm never going to be a Michelin-starred chef. I'm never going to win Top Chef. I'm never going to compete on Top Chef. I'm never going to compete on Chopped. And these are choices that I've made instead of thinking that I can't do that or I could never do that. I'm choosing not to pursue that path with my cooking, okay? So you can look at people who are doing those type of things and just accept that you're not there. You might never get there. And like me, own it if you decide that that's not something that you want to do. You are good enough where you are and to get to the level that you want to be. So be kind to yourself And one of the best things you can do is to track your wins, track your successes. You know, one of the hardest things to grasp is how much of a role you actually have in your own success. And to help show yourself that you're actually doing well, keep track of your wins. You know, whether you're doing it on paper or a note on your phone or a Google Doc or whatever. It is so powerful to keep track of these things so that you can go back and look at them as your brain naturally is going to the last time you left thyme out of your thyme roasted pork loin or whatever. Okay, keep track of even things that you've finished in your business. Keep track of compliments. Keep track of recipe wins, whatever makes you feel good about the hard work you're putting in. And what this will do too is help you say yes to new opportunities. Because a lot of times when we're feeling this doubt and like we're good enough or like a fraud or someone's going to find out that we're not as good as we think we are, this imposter syndrome, right? We turn down opportunities because we're afraid we're not going to do a good enough job or we're not as good as we say we are. And I see this all the time in passionate cooks who are starting their personal chef business and they're doing all the things like behind the scenes, like getting an LLC or getting, you know, their business name and their logo and stuff, or maybe even getting business cards. And they're working on that stuff. And they have people who have told them that they are interested in their services, but the passionate cook doesn't get back to them. And I hear the things that they say are, you know what, I'm not ready yet. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to cook yet. I don't know my pricing. I don't know how my services are going to work. When in reality, you've made those first decisions, or you could make that decision in this very instant, but you haven't committed to it. And so instead of going forward with someone who is actually a potential client, you just kind of put it on the back burner until you've got everything dialed in. And the problem with this is if you have that attitude, it is never going to be good enough. Not only, you know, it's easy to say it's never going to be perfect, and perfect is something that doesn't even exist. But if you feel like it's never going to be good enough, okay? Richard Branson, you know, kind of a successful entrepreneur, said, if someone offers you an amazing opportunity and you're not sure you can do it, say yes. Then learn how to do it later. Because when it comes to imposter syndrome and fear, sometimes it comes down to, instead of trying to get over it, just don't let it stop you, okay? And a great first step that you can take is to download my guide on how to do weekly meal prep services for clients. There's a link right by this video description. Because although you might feel like you can't cook a weekly meal service for someone else right now, after you practice it a few times, you get confident. And that confidence comes from getting competent and getting that evidence that yes, you can do it. And the faster you get competent and get confidence, the faster you can quiet that imposter syndrome down and start taking those people who are telling you they want you to cook for them. Because I'm telling you, clients are out there and they are hungry for what you're cooking.